Call the Owatonna City Council meeting to order for Tuesday, June 3rd, 2014. May we have roll call?
Councilmember Truelson.
Here.
Dotson.
Here.
Schultz.
Here.
Burbank.
Here.
Rainey.
Here.
Svenby.
Here.
Abraham.
Here.
Mayor Kunz.
Here.
We have all 7 of the council and the mayor present.
Thank you. Please rise and join Councilmember Burbank in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everyone here tonight. And with that, we'll move on to, we have no action until we get to the financial report. And I'll ask Councilmember
We'll approve the agenda.
approval of the agenda. There is no changes to the agenda at this point. There's been some clarification given on a couple items, but no changes. So look for a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Brent. Second. Second by Raymond Truelson. Any further discussion there? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
With that, we'll move on to the financial report.
Okay, checks over $20,000. $21,646 to Foth Infrastructure and Environment for the wastewater treatment plant heater project. $25,136 to Mansfield Oil Company for fuel purchases. $40,800 to Reinders Inc. Brook Tree herbicides and fungicides. $26,538 to St. Croix Recreation. That's remainder of the Manthe Park play equipment. $59,689 to Turf Works for 2 Jacobson Greens mowers. $50,445 to Walters Climate Inc. for the new boilers for the Aquatic Center. Other expenditures of $113,491 for a subtotal of $337,747. Added to that, the Section 8 payments of $59,985 for total expenditures to be presented of $397,732.
Thank you, Greg. What is the council's wishes?
Make a motion to pay the bills.
Motion by Kevin Rainey to pay the bills. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
Second by Nate Dodson. Raymond.
Just got a question on the Walter Climate. Or was there any warranty on the existing equipment? And the second question I got, will we dig into the reserve repair funds for that?
For which one, Raymond?
For the Walters Climate boilers for the Aquatic Center.
There is no more warranty on that.
Okay.
And this is what's recommended, and this
Yeah.
this configuration is the best. That should work going forward.
Will that go into that maintenance fund that they set up?
Pretty much wipes it out, but yes.
How much was in there?
It was roughly around $50,000.
So that'll wipe that out then, huh?
Right.
Okay.
Any other questions on the financial? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Next item is consent agenda items, which are permits, minutes of meetings, department reports, etc., all grouped into one motion. What is the council's wishes?
So moved.
I would like to look at 2.5-1 rather than lump that in with the rest of them.
You would like to pull that out?
Yes.
I agree with that. I would like to also pull 253 and 254 because I have questions on those. So, with that, what is the council's wishes?
I'd like to pull 2.7 just to recognize special recognition for that one a little bit, to make sure it's brought up and shared tonight with the public.
Oh, that will happen, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to just mention that. So.
Yeah. Do we wish to pull those 3 items and recognize the other one?
Yep.
4 items.
Pardon?
4 items.
4 items.
4 items.
Yeah.
To pull those from the consent agenda item before they're approved? Okay, I'm looking for a motion.
I move we accept.
Okay, we have a motion by Raymond to approve with those exceptions pulled. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
Second by Nate. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Now let's deal with 2.5.1, the 2014 UV splash dash. You had a question on that, Kevin?
Yeah, this company in the past has done color dashes. I get calls the day following with people are concerned in regards to trash that hasn't been picked up. The coloring is on the trails and on the streets. I would make a motion to table this request until we get information in regards to how that's going to be handled better this time as opposed to events in the past.
Okay, we have a motion to table. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Nate Dodson. Any further discussion there? No, there is no discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been tabled till we receive more information on that issue. Thank you. Now, the other two is 2.53 and 2.54. The reason why I'm looking at that is I don't have a problem with the time for the event to take place, but as far as the music, the sound, the entertainment, I think that we need to shorten that up to no later than 12 o'clock midnight for that to be outside. I did receive about 5 complaints last year on dances that were playing outside after midnight, and the residents that called weren't very happy with what was happening. So I would like to reduce that down to no later than midnight. So, Kevin.
I would agree with that, and I appreciate that the people that are putting in the request checked with the apartments in the main area, but that sound does carry, and residential area isn't that far away. And I had comments last year also. I would like to see the amplification finished at midnight as well.
Any questions, other comments?
How late is scheduled right now?
Right now it's scheduled till 1 o'clock.
Oh, 1.
The noise ordinance says 10 o'clock,
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
but
11.
11.
no, 10 o'clock.
10.
10 o'clock.
Oh, you wanted to go to 11, you said.
Well, no, I would say I would love
Midnight?
midnight,
Okay.
but I can't make a motion.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments on this?
I'd make a motion, we approve those two with 12 o'clock midnight deadline on
Okay, we have a motion by Greg. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
Second by Kevin Rainey. Any further discussion there?
I just think we have to be consistent now on future permits that we have now in town, like for just one more and the street dance during Crazy Days. We should also look at those permits to make sure they're consistent with the midnight.
I agree with you,
So,
Brent.
yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the fourth item is 2.71, donation received dual purpose dryer for the fire department.
I just want to thank Concepts and Designs for donating that to the fire department. Their hoses can get done longer, and it's an estimated cost of $10,000 that they donated. So I just like to personally thank them for that donation to the fire department.
Thank you, Raymond. And I too would like to thank them. That is a wonderful donation and something that the fire department really can use. So thank you, Concepts and Designs, for supplying that. And with that, we now move on to action items. And the first item we have on the agenda is 3.1, license permits, tobacco permit, Owatonna Tobacco Incorporated, and we go to Chris with that.
Thank you, Les. We have received an application from Mr. Zuhar from Shortview to take over the Jericho Tobacco 2 current business at this location. We have 29 tobacco permits issued in 2014. This is an annual license, will expire in December 31 of this year. So the prorated fees have been paid, the required documents have been submitted, and staff would recommend approval.
Thank you, Chris. Any questions from the council?
Motion we approve.
A motion by Nate to approve. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
Second by Greg Schultz. Any further discussion there? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved also. Moving on to 3.4, ordinance, second reading, proposed ordinance, update chapter 3, adopt Minnesota State Fire Code. And there we go to Chris again.
Thank you, Les. As you know, this is rather a housekeeping item. We need to update and clarify our language in the code to make sure it correlates to the current Minnesota State Fire Code. This language refers to the 2003 State Fire Code, which has been replaced. Staff would recommend approval of the first reading of proposed ordinance 4-14.
Thank you, Chris. Any questions from the council?
I'll move we approve.
The second reading. I'm sorry, the second reading.
Second reading.
I'll move we
We have a
approve.
motion by Raymond to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
I'll go with Brent on this one. Second by Brent. Any further discussion on this? So this is an ordinance. I ask for a roll call.
Councilmember Truulson.
Aye.
Dotson.
Aye.
Schultz.
Aye.
Burbank.
Aye.
Rainey.
Aye.
Svenby.
Aye.
Abraham.
Aye. As all ayes, this has been approved, and now we move on to Resolution 3.5.1, Resolution 2514, Mineral Springs Parkway Project, and that would go to Kyle.
Les, I will have to recuse myself from this one.
Thank you, Greg.
Good evening. This is we've discussed the 2014 Mineral Springs project in the past. I'm going to again recommend that we postpone this project until 2015 based on concerns from property owners and some geometric concerns. We think we have a good plan, but we could possibly do better with the area down by the park, and making sure that we don't impact properties any more than we need to with the trail. And we don't expect significant cost increases by postponing it a year. And if you have any questions, I guess our recommendation is to postpone until 2015 and rebid at that time.
Thank you, and we do plan to do that in 2015 and not postpone it again. Is that correct?
It would be up to the council, but that would be my recommendation.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and what is the council's wishes? Raymond?
I would support that only if the property owners on that street sign the agreement that will happen next year. Otherwise, it'll be laying on the books for 10 years. It's the only way I'll support it.
Okay. Any other questions, comments?
Because if they sign that they agree to that, they want to delay it too, that then it would happen, like Brent always says, on the books for 10 years to do a project, and that way we won't be talking about it 10 years from now. So I want those property owners to sign that, saying they agree to that.
So that would delay it for us right now.
Right. If they sign that agreement, part of the motion, I'd make the motion with that part of the agreement in there.
So we will approve it based on that requirement. Yes, great.
I would have a concern about that because I'm not certain if you can delegate to the abutting owners that decision. I think the decision has to be the council's decision. So I think that might be delegating to the public or to the homeowners something that would be beyond their authority to okay.
About a year from now, we'll be talking about it again, and I just think that's what happened.
I'm just concerned about that.
Well, and Raymond, I understand your concern, but it was made fairly clear at the last meeting discussing this as well that if this gets delayed, it's going to happen next year. Property owners recognize it's going to happen. Hopefully we can just get a little bit better design and make sure everybody's on the same page and happy with the layout. But I think everybody in the council is pretty well accepting that this is happening next year. Regardless of the property owner's feelings about it at that point, we're going to do our best to get an agreeable situation for everybody, but it is going to happen. So I understand the concern, but I think we are all on the same page that it will happen, and I would make the motion that we postpone until next year with the acknowledgement that it is going to happen next year.
So with that, we would have to modify your motion.
I will not make the motion.
Okay. Anyone wish to make a motion on this?
I've got the motion that
Okay.
we postpone until next year,
And have it done next
and
year?
it will happen next year.
Okay. We have a motion by Nate to approve, to postpone it until next year and have it completed next year. Do we have a second to that?
I'll second that.
Second by Kevin Rainey. Any further discussion?
Tom.
Nate?
Kevin?
Okay.
One thing property owners keep in mind, as it sits this year, the trail expansion was on right-of-way, and that still very well may happen, that it will be on right-of-way next year. And I don't see the project changing a lot, but let's just get the questions answered so we're ready to go next spring.
Okay. You had a...
Just a comment that with the trail system, seeing we have residents here, just take another look, make sure that stays on one side or the other, just to review that for next spring.
Well, I think what we're looking at primarily is that we have all of the property owners have some kind of an agreement working with Kyle and the engineering department to get this done and done properly. So, again, we talked about moving the road a little bit possibly, but I think that's basically what it was boiling down to. So.
Just a comment that I would like the staff to keep working on this project this year so we don't come back next year and say, well, we're still back at square one where we are tonight. So can we just keep working on this project and maybe get the answers by end of the year, hopefully, so we can come at this full force next spring and not delay us. So
Understood.
So just keep looking at that. So.
Okay. With that, any further discussion? We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
One, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for, 1 against. So that does pass. It will be delayed until next year, and then it will be done. So with that, we will move on to the next item, which is 3.52, Resolution 2914, approved plans and specifications and order bids for Airport East Edition. And with that, we'll go to Troy.
The pavement evaluation completed by MnDOT in 2013 at the airport indicates that the main portion of the east apron as being very poor with a low pavement condition index, or PCI rating. The project provides for a reconstruction of most of the area. There are other areas on the east apron that can achieve a higher PCI rating with just the mill and overlay. The mill and overlay portion of the work would be included as part of the project and be bid as an alternate. A second alternate would be to have the design to include apron expansion of the east apron to allow more parking area as indicated and approved on our airport layout plan. Based on City Council approval at the last meeting, the project plans and specifications, including the bid documents, have been prepared for by Bolton and Mink, our airport engineering consultant. At the end of the recent Minnesota legislative session, additional funding was returned to the state airport fund, which was previously transferred from the fund to the general fund, so that's being repaid back in. MnDOT Aeronautics has indicated that the increased state funding participation will now be available for this project. It's anticipated that this additional 5% funding would be available for federally eligible items already proposed for 90% funding. Our local 2014 CIP budget includes local funding for design services only for multiple year projects identified in the 10-year CIP plan. Due to the increased funding available for current projects and higher than anticipated construction estimates for planned projects, it's recommended that we do smaller projects with the design and construction over the planned period rather than just all the design for all the projects at once, which is what we had previously decided on. The local share of the construction costs are estimated to be between $15,000 and $22,000, depending on the base bid and alternate bids received. The overall construction costs are estimated to be $307,000. All project costs are contingent upon securing the 90% federal funding as well as the additional 5% state funding for eligible items. So staff would recommend approval of the attached resolution.
Thank you, Troy. Questions from the council? Raymond?
Troy, is the engineering part of that, what is the cost for that part of it? Do you know offhand? Estimated engineering cost?
The engineering cost for all of this?
For just that project, yeah.
For just that project, I believe we were in the $22,000 range.
Is that included in the total? Is the $20,000 included in the total cost?
Yes.
So that's part of the estimated cost?
Correct.
What is the council's wishes?
Make a motion to approve.
We have a motion by Nate to approve. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
Second by Brent. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved also. Next item is miscellaneous items, which is policy revision, policy and procedure manual, and this will go to
Lynn.
Lynn.
Good evening. I propose that the council adopt the following revision to the policy and procedure manual, and that would be the revision to section 14.2, basic individual and safety equipment. And my proposal is to increase the safety shoe allowance to increase it by $25 a year. Currently it's $100, so that would be a total of $125. And then also a revision to allowing composite-toed shoes versus just the steel-toed shoes with OSHA regulation. And also increasing the winter boot allowance. Currently, it's set at $100 every 5 years, and I'd like to change that to $200 every 5 years.
Thank you. Questions from Raymond?
I serve on that committee, and we've done a lot of investigation on the winter boots, and it was the people that brought that forward. That was not coming from management. That was they wanted to make it safer for their winter boots, and they were wearing winter boots that was not OSHA approved or had steel toes, so that's why this was brought on the table. So.
Okay, thank you, Raymond.
And I move approval.
We have a motion by Raymond to approve. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Nate Dotson. Any further discussion on this? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
With that, we'll move on to approve memorandum of agreement. With that, we'll go to Chris.
Thank you, Les. This memorandum is between the city and the union. It's called the Minnesota Public Employees Association, or MINPIA. They represent our sergeants and corporals. We are currently in negotiations and mediation over the terms of our collective bargaining agreement, and during which we've discussed the establishment of a health care savings plan and depositing sick leave severance payments into this in lieu of a cash payment, where typically that is provided to employees upon separation from employment with the employer. We have a couple of employees, Tim Hassing and Devon Wald, who have since retired, and the agreement has not been finalized. So this memorandum would handle that and allow the city to retain their sick leave payments and allow them to be held until such time as the collective bargaining agreement is concluded and agreed to, and then they would not have some negative tax consequences. So staff would recommend approval. This has already been signed by Mr. Hassing and Ms. Von Wald. So.
Thank you. Any questions from the council? What is the council's wishes?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion by Dave Burbank to approve. Do we have a second to that?
Second.
Second by Greg Schultz. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This has been approved. Thank you, Chris. And with that, we'll move on to public comment, and if anyone wishes to speak, please come to the microphone and sign in and discuss anything for 2 minutes on any item not on this agenda.
I want to hear about it.
Seeing none, we'll move on to council comment, and we will start with Raymond Trulson.
I'd like to personally thank my brother Rollin, his wife Ann, family, and all the people in Owatonna and all the help they've given me, you people and everybody, and somebody gave me a second chance, and I hope to continue helping the people of Owatonna.
We'll even give you a third chance if we need to.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Nate?
Welcome back, Raymond.
Great.
Good to see you, Raymond. Nothing else.
Dave?
Flag Day is coming up. I'd like to see as many flags flying in the 3rd Ward as possible.
Just the 3rd Ward.
They're in the competition.
Okay. Kevin, how about the 4th Ward?
Welcome back, Raymond. Very good to see you. There will be more flags in the 4th Ward than there will be in the 3rd Ward. I have no doubt about that. School's going to be out this week. Please, when you're driving, be careful. Kids will be on bikes and so on. So slow down and be aware.
And there'll be more flags in the city. Let's.
Thank you. Brent?
Welcome back, Raymond.
Thank you.
Mayor Tom?
Welcome back, Raymond.
Chris?
We've missed you, Raymond. I do have a few items to announce. This Thursday, June 5th, we're going to begin mosquito spraying, wooded areas, and then other areas of the entire city. There is a retirement party for Sergeant Devon Wald, Friday, June 6th, at Morehouse Park Chalet from 3 to 6. We invite you all to come and wish Deanne well in her retirement. There is also going to be a public hearing on Tuesday, June 10th at 7:15 in the Commissioners' Room in the Steele County Administration Center regarding the Steele County Regional Railroad Authority. Movies in the Park will begin on Friday, June 20th. This year, we're changing it up a bit. We're going to Darts Park. Movie starts at 9:10. The movie is, The Sandlot. So very appropriate at the ball field. So we would urge you to come on out and enjoy that activity. And I think that's it.
Thank you. Raymond?
Just to remind all the council members, you've been invited to the 911 board meeting tomorrow. That's a recap study that was done at the Law Enforcement Center. So if you can attend, it'd be a very important meeting to be to. It's at 4 o'clock at the County Administration Building.
It's Steele County Administration.
Yeah, Steele County Boardroom.
Yes, I would highly recommend that we all make it to that one, too. And with that, school is out. Please drive carefully and watch out for the kids that are playing. And welcome back, Raymond. I want to keep you here. So, again, good luck with that. And with that, look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Kevin, second by Raymond to adjourn. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.